champions, Spain. The Puerto Rico side, 6 of the lineup figure for the Puerto Rico Islanders club, who play in the North American Soccer League, the second tier in the USA behind the MLS. One player to keep an eye out for is striker Héctor Ramos. Well, we're not facing a Spain team that's at full strength, yet full of very familiar names nevertheless. Liverpool goalkeeper Pepe Reina gets a start ahead of recognised #1 Iker Casillas. No Sergio Ramos in defence, so Raul Albiol partners Gerard Piqué. New Barcelona signing left-back Jordi Alba isn't here after playing so well in Euro 2012. Follow that up with appearances in the Olympics, so Nacho Monreal is his replacement at left fullback. Les Ramos, 4 goals in 13 international appearances for Puerto Rico. Just how much service will he get in a side that's littered with defenders? No great surprise. This is quite a step up for the Puerto Rican players, to say the very least. Javier Santos will be the man in the middle. It's fair to say at the outset, this is frankly a friendly that the star-studded Spanish players could have done without, so close to the start of their domestic seasons. Most of them play in Spain, although Pepe Reina is in England with Liverpool. Santi Cazorla has recently left Spanish football and Malaga to sign for Arsenal. And Fernando Torres, who wins his 99th cap, is of course with Chelsea. The rest littered around Spain. The squad by and large made up of Barcelona and Real Madrid players. Although we will get to see from the outset the likes of Malaga's Monreal and Atletico Madrid's Juanfran, Jesús Navas of Sevilla. Very interesting to see how Puerto Rico shape up to this challenge. Showed no sign of nerves in the opening seconds. Throw has been won there by Alexis Rivera. This stadium, incidentally, home to the current league leaders of the Puerto Rican Soccer League. Has only 8 clubs in it. The league leaders are Bayamón. Don't provide any players in this lineup. The first taste of the action for Reina. Now Juanfran. He made his debut for Spain in friendlies leading up to the European Championships, where of course Spain became the first nation in history to win 3 successive major tournaments, successfully defending their European Championship and sandwiched in between, of course, that World Cup success in South Africa. Expect to see both the Spain fullbacks well advanced, as Monreal, the left back, is here now. Juanfran will play on the right-hand side, almost like a right winger, I suspect. Spain so good at maintaining possession, as good as it gets. Comes the first attempted goal. Slightly ambitious from Navas. Not really testing Bill Gadet in the Puerto Rico goal. 30-year-old goalkeeper who will expect to see plenty of action. Time, incidentally, is just beyond 4 o'clock in the afternoon local time. Not a full house, but certainly a bigger crowd than the Puerto Rican players are used to playing in front of. Xabi Alonso. Iniesta. best performer at the Euros, Andres Iniesta. Here's Juanfran, Iniesta again. Fine defence for Puerto Rico. Comes across, which they deal with well enough, as far as Alonso. Iniesta. The foul, referee Javier Santos. A perfect position in order to see the trip on Cazorla. Excellent position here now for Spain. No Xavi Hernandez, who would normally be over, certainly one of the favourites on a free kick in this position. Xavi's not here, the Barcelona midfielder. Taking some time out in order to be fully fit for Barcelona's opening league game of the season this coming Sunday against Real Sociedad. But no shortage of quality on free kicks in his absence. Xabi Alonso, Cazorla, Iniesta, Fàbregas. Any one of that quartet could take charge here. No test though for the goalkeeper Gaudet. Well, he wasn't too happy with the wall in front of him. Made that point particularly clear to Gaudet. Plays for the New York Red Bulls. Like most of this Puerto Rico side, was born in the United States. Puerto Rico has an affiliation, of course, with the USA. It was ceded to the United States after the Spanish-American War of the late 19th century. Treaty in Paris. Spain ceded Puerto Rico territory to the US. Incidentally, Puerto Ricans are due to vote in November on whether to seek independence or become a state officially of the USA, or be, as they are now, a sovereign nation associated to the US, but not subject to the territorial clause of the US Constitution. They have their own governor. Footballers are ranked 138th in the world, facing the world's #1 ranked team. Holding their own in the opening 6 minutes. What can they do with a little bit of possession here? Roared on by the home crowd. Plenty of Spanish fans here. See quite a number of red shirts around the stands. Free kick being earned there by Andres Perez. Number 14 there. Plays with Puerto Rico Islanders, winning his 10th cap today. Clearly fouled by Juanfran. Don't make much use though of that free kick, Puerto Rico. This is Navas of Sevilla. Taken on by Cazorla, support here from Monreal. Lovely pass to pick out Juanfran. It's an excellent run from the fullback. Shot is blocked out as far as Navas. Good support from Juanfran. It's a rather hasty challenge. Navas thought it was a foul. I thought it was too on first viewing. Nevertheless, Spain have a corner. A little impetuous there, Scott Jones, the number 2, with a challenge on Navas. Corner work short between Cazorla and Iniesta. Just a little wasteful on a couple of occasions in possession. Puerto Rico can't afford to be. It'll be a long wait to get the ball back. Gonzalez. Hails from Tampa Bay in Florida. I understand he's currently without a club, the 23-year-old. John Kraus over the Puerto Rico free kick. No trouble for Pepe Reina in the Spain goal. So much quality in terms of outfield players, but not too bad in goalkeepers, are they? Casillas, Reina, Valdez. Towards Torres, who's barely had a kick so far. Ended up as the top scorer at the Euros without always being a starter. There's much debate about Spain's ability to play without a recognised striker. My argument would be that they're all strikers in this wonderfully fluid team, full of such intelligent footballers, hungry for titles, now boast some of the most decorated footballers in history, some of them barely into their mid-20s. Such has been the success of late, both international and of course at club level at Real Madrid and Barcelona. Moving forward with some menace here, Spain. Opportunity for the shot, passed up by Fàbregas. Put himself into a good position there, Cesc Fàbregas. Decided not to swing a left foot at it, trying to take a touch. Touch let him down. Here's Juanfran, a little over 10 minutes gone. Already boost to Puerto Rico. They're 0-0 with the reigning world and European champions. Juanfran. Navas is wide. He's made a good run off Jones. And a bad ball in. It's pretty well defended in the end by Puerto Rico. That's their coach, Justin Campos. Would have been pretty unhappy, and his face said it all. The way Spain were able to open them up here. The pass from Juanfran for Navas. Oh, in comes the shot off the post. Yeah, that was beaten. And that was a real let-off for Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, our cameraman was a little slow to see what happened from the corner kick. We joined it just enough to see the effort come off the inside of the post, but the referee Javier Santos has seen an infringement in there and has signalled a free kick here to the Puerto Ricans. Here's the corner from Santi Cazorla. The header from Piqué, which came off the inside of the post. Just wondering whether they ruled that the ball had arced out of play from the corner, because I couldn't see a foul in there unless they gave it for that stretch from Fàbregas just short of the goal line. Really good header from Piqué nonetheless. Iniesta. Juanfran, we've seen plenty of the ball in the opening minutes. Navas. Looking forward here for Spain. Torres. Difficult skill to perfect that for Fernando Torres. Cazorla with the ball in. Didn't begin to time it. Torres, his confidence would have improved by a measure after his performances when given the opportunity in goals at Euro 2012. Fair to say it's an important season coming up for Torres with Chelsea. A lovely touch on the chest from Ramos. Couldn't find the pass. Alonso. Fàbregas. Alonso again. Cazorla. Iniesta. Keeper Torres. Well defended by Puerto Rico. Out as far as Juanfran. Torres. Once again, diligent defending from the Puerto Ricans. Away by Delgado. Tito getting the better of Ramos. Now Monreal. Santi Cazorla. Jesús Navas. Decent cross from Navas. It was the fullback Monreal who was coming in to try and pick up the pieces from the excellent Navas cross. Bags of pace, plenty of tricks. Sevilla winger Navas. Monreal arriving late, just unable to keep it down. Throw here to be taken by Rivera. Plenty of time and space here for Gerard Piqué. Fàbregas working it wide for Cazorla. For Navas, easily cut out, but Navas will get a touch now. Alonso. Iniesta. Early, effective challenge there. Puerto Rico's defending has been pretty good up to now. Pepe Reina remains a virtual spectator. Puerto Rico still holding Spain by and large at arm's length. Too much by way of a save yet from Gaudet. Some good space in midfield here now is Fàbregas. Ricochets away. A Spain corner. Puerto Rico a little slow to pick up from the corner taken short. Navas. Fàbregas. Cazorla. Monreal making another good run. That's just overhit. It's got an interesting few weeks ahead. Nacho Monreal, the Spain left back, is currently with a club who are roiled in financial trouble at the moment, Malaga. He's going to be a switch here. Juanfran is carrying an injury. His place at right back will be taken by Real Madrid's Alvaro Arbeloa. Goes to a bit of a fight at the moment for the first choice right back spot. Arbeloa, probably fair to say, holds it in terms of experience on the international stage, but Juanfran is a winger turned right back who had a very good season last time round with Atletico Madrid. I'm sure his club will be wincing at the fact that he's lived off here. Of course, all the managers and head coaches of these star Spanish players, with everything crossed that they come through unscathed. Atletico Madrid will be hoping that's not too serious an injury for Juanfran. Free kicks being awarded here to Puerto Rico, won by Ramos. The challenge with Albiol, who was displeased to say the least. Raul Albiol awarding of the free kick. Well, they've yet to create a chance, Puerto Rico. Concluded their World Cup qualifying incidentally last November for Brazil 2014. They rounded that off with a 3-0 win against St. Lucia. A little bit of space there for Ramos, but ultimately being given offside. Yes, they won that final qualifier 3-0 against St. Lucia. They drew the previous game against Canada, which was no mean feat. They finished runners-up in a group of 4 to Canada. Wasn't enough. They bowed out at the second qualifying stage. Signs of improvement, 20 minutes gone. They're holding Spain 0-0. Iniesta, Alonso, struck it well! I don't think it was quite as close as that angle would suggest. You know the fearsome shot that Xabi Alonso possesses. It just came off the outside of his boot in the end. We'll see from here, it's a little wider than the angle first suggested. Also a pillar of the Spanish setup. Such an important player for the coach, Vicente Del Bosque. Monreal, Cazorla, Alonso, Iniesta. Arbeloa is free. Here he is. First touch. It's coming on for Juanfran. Now Navas. Looks like we've got the beating of Scott Jones. Reporter Jones stuck to his task there. He's got a job on his hands against Navas. Number 2. Alonso, Iniesta, Cazorla, Fàbregas, Arbeloa, good crossing position here. Nobody there in a red shirt. Throw to Spain, seated there by Christian Arrieta, most experienced of the Puerto Rican players out there at the age of 32. Here's Cazorla, thought about the shot. Iniesta. Torres! Really good save by Gaudet. We looked a certain scorer there, Fernando Torres. It was a very, very good save from Phil Gaudet. Navas. No real pressure on Puerto Rico, but little at ease of getting the ball decisively clear. Down goes Iniesta. Pretty close to being a penalty, just outside. The first real save of the match. Belgrade equal to the close-range Torres header. This is the challenge. That's how close it was to being a penalty. Arrieta on Iniesta. Here's the header from Torres. Looked a goal, didn't it? Big right hand of Belgrade did enough to keep the score at 0-0. Busy, and we fully expected him to be Belgrade. Getting busier, you might say, in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Fouled by Rivera. Not in any mood for apologies from Alexis Rivera. He says, calm down boys, let's get on with it. Navas, Alonso, always available. This is Cazorla, Marrero on the outside. Cazorla might go for goal! Another good stop by Gaudet. Spain knocking on the door of the opening goal in this friendly in Puerto Rico. Navas. Alonso. Del Bosque. It's opposite number. Campos. Twitchy on the touchline. Head coach of Puerto Rico with every good reason, because Spain are coming onto their A game here. In by Navas, down in at full stretch. Iniesta. All the way through for Fàbregas. Xavi Alonso. Monreal free to his left. Here he is, Nacho Monreal. Iniesta. Monreal again. Every exuberant challenge. Referee is going to produce a yellow card here. Often in friendly matches, players can get away with challenges such as this, but I think it's a trotting up procedure for Arrieta. Got away with one on Iniesta a couple of minutes ago, but not with that one. So booking for Christian Arrieta. Real certainly felt the full effects of that. Albiol is forward. TK thinking about making his way into the penalty area. Just hovering on the outside at the moment. Now he makes his way in there. Attacks the near post. Fàbregas able to find the accuracy, stealing the ball right-footed. Confirmation of Arrieta's yellow card. By Ramos on the feet of Albiol. Cazorla. Alonso. Fàbregas. Again, so many men behind the ball, it has to be for Puerto Rico to try and plug the gaps. It's a side who have shown in major tournaments over the last 4 years how adept they are at breaking down mass defences. They look to do so again. clattering there. This is Alonso. Iniesta. Monreal in behind Iniesta, faced by a wall of blue shirts. Fàbregas. Arbeloa. Continuing to defend very deep. I think that's their best ploy. Puerto Rico serving them well so far. Here's Iniesta. Get a little turn from Andres Iniesta. He's crossing, but no red shirt could attack it. Given in by Alonso. Sprints away off cross and easily forward Gavin. We're approaching half an hour. And who'd have had this scoreline? Coach Campos. Probably not in his wildest dreams would have expected Puerto Rico to still be on terms here with Spain. Here's Pepe. Monreal. Iniesta. Once again, this familiar picture of Puerto Rico defending back five, all inside their penalty area here. Nobody's going to push up looking for offsides. They're prepared to drop back. Blanket of blue shirts there, continuing to make life difficult for Spain. Here's Iniesta. Wait! Piqué. Xabi Alonso. Good looking ball this. Fed out to Arbeloa. Once again, just heading practice for the centre of that Puerto Rico defence. Iniesta. Monreal. Another good run from the fullback. Blocked by Cross. That certainly would have tested Gades, but reached his goal. Now Ramos. Waiting for support for a long time in arriving. Puerto Rico have lost their way there. Here's Navas. Down goes Torres. One or two half-hearted appeals for a penalty. Referee Luis Santos. Good look at this. Certainly inquiries. Challenge coming in from Martinez. Torres still having plenty to say. All in vain. Rain suddenly started to fall quite steadily. To the crowd in the front rows of the stands make their way towards more cover. Puerto Rico and northeastern Caribbean, east of the Dominican Republic. A little over 2,200 miles from the United States mainland, where most of these players in blue were born. And their international colours with Puerto Rico by virtue of residency. Navas. Say, out of possession. Full marks to Puerto Rico. Kept their shape really well in this opening 33 minutes. Iniesta, lovely touch for Monreal. In goes Torres. Ramos, the lone figure up front for Puerto Rico. Strong. A bit of pace about him, but something like 30-35 metres largely between him and the Puerto Rico midfield. And when he does manage to get hold of the ball. Support takes a long time in arriving. Here's Navas. Looks to take on Jones. Thinking of him so far. By Marc. Cleared by Arietta. Soccer is not the most important sport on the island of Puerto Rico. Baseball, basketball lead the way. Here's Iniesta. Great cross! Really well defended. Once again by Puerto Rico. Super cross. Back comes Spain again. Fàbregas. Away, but only partially by Perez. Good enough to pick out Ramos. Find the pass, looking for Perez. Alonso, Iniesta, Rivera in smartly on Marrero. Timed his challenge more effectively this time. Arietta. Marrero's been like a left winger. One of Spain's most potent attacking forces, the left back. Two or three smart saves from Dolgade, one in particular from Torres' header. Still at 0-0, less than 10 minutes to go to half-time. Puerto Rico not an attacking threat at all. Maybe that's about to change. What a lovely pass! Been able to take it on, Perez. Most meaningful piece of action for Pepe Reina. Freedom of midfield here for Alonso. Fàbregas. Best of passes for Torres. Iniesta. Alonso. Beyond rival sides in the forthcoming La Liga season. Iniesta and Alonso exchange passes again, the Barcelona and Real Madrid men. What a fight it's going to be. Real Madrid defending their title. Ended Barcelona's 3-year dominance of the domestic crown. Foul by Torres. A bit disappointed with that, Torres. Seemed to use his body effectively there for me on first viewing. Referee decided otherwise. Richard Martinez, who's defended well in this first half, for number 3. Expect to see Spain in particular make a number of substitutions today. You see the likes of Pedro or Fernando Llorente, David Silva. A rare occasion, Puerto Rico inside the Spanish half. Full pass. Iniesta. Navas. Shots on here. Blocked by the legs of Gadet. Still continues to keep Spain out. himself out there, the Puerto Rico goalkeeper. Unorthodox but effective. Iniesta, another run from Monreal, opens up the space there for Iniesta. Fàbregas, Navas. Torres didn't make the run. Rivera to calmly chest the ball back to Gaudet, to take a breather. Well aware that his outfield players need it. Goalkeeper. Get to half-time level. It's a considerable performance from Puerto Rico. Here's Piqué. Cazorla. Good run by Torres. Oh, and he flaps up. I'd like to see that again from a good angle. Very first thought was that he was just onside there. Very well collided with the post there. The run to make the save from Torres. He's going to be okay. We're not going to see whether he was onside or offside from that angle. Maybe a friendly, but this referee doesn't stand on any ceremony. Trying for early to be time wasting. Fàbregas. Navas. Alonso. Fàbregas again. Alvarado. Monreal. Iniesta. Very tight. Rivera loses out. Well, a shot in, and this time Gaudet is beaten. I think he's complaining that his defender missed his view of the shot, and Santi has given Spain the lead. The man who's just made a big summer move to the English Premier League and Arsenal. Arsenal fans are hoping to see more of this. He was unsighted by Kraus, the goalkeeper. The ball swerved and found its way past the despairing goalkeeper. Puerto Rico's stubborn resistance finally broken. From Monreal, the feature of the first half. Alonso! Plenty behind it. Not the accuracy. It's worth taking on though from Xabi Alonso's point of view. Spain 1. Santi Cazorla the goal scorer. Here's Navas. Torres ahead of him. Good cover by Jones. Let it go there for Perez. They held on too long. The opportunity to try to play the ball in earlier inside to Ramos. Heading towards any stoppage time, the referee may add on at the end of the Spain dominated first half, but only 1-0 up. Navas. Shot brilliantly taken by Fàbregas. What a superb finish. Gaudet didn't have a prayer on the Puerto Rico goal. Right on the stroke of half-time, Spain double their advantage. Navas with a cross. The first time volley. Timed to perfection by Fàbregas. High quality goal from a wonderful team. Continue to be hungry for more success. So, despite the World Cup being the continent of South America, will surely go there as favourites. If they were to lift the World Cup in Brazil in 2014, I'm sure they would go down as the greatest international team of all time. Well, Justin Campos' Puerto Rico frustrated Spain for long periods in that first half, with 2 goals close to the interval. Now Spain in the ascendancy. Goals coming from Santi Cazorla and Cesc Fàbregas. Half-time at the Juan Ramón Loubriel Stadium is Puerto Rico 0, Spain 2. Welcome back to the Juan Ramón Loubriel Stadium on the island of Puerto Rico for this friendly international, certainly the biggest in the relatively short international history of the Puerto Ricans to be facing the reigning world and European champions in Spain. Spain frustrated for long periods in that first half until 2 late first period goals from Santi Cazorla and from Cesc Fàbregas gives us a scoreline that would be more in keeping with what many thought would be the situation, maybe a few more behind for Puerto Rico at half-time. So certainly far from disgraced in that first 45 minutes. Spain are making some changes at the start of the second half. Let's see Fernando Llorente, who's come on. The athletic Bilbao striker, who I understand might be moving before the month of August transfer window is closed, has turned down a new contract. Number 19 there, Llorente with athletic Bilbao. There'll be no shortage of suitors for the big striker. Spain, of course, then in the red from right to left in the second half. So front 2 for Spain, Torres and Llorente. Interesting to see how they shape up as a partnership. Very rarely Spain play with 2 out-and-out strikers. said earlier, they're all so adaptable, all so confident in all areas of the pitch. And there's a good early save from Gaudet. Keeps the score down to 2-0. That was an instinctive stop, not his first of the game. Cazorla trying to open the scoring. Below and fall in. Rente unable to get a clean touch to that. Fed wide by Sergio Busquets, who's replaced Xabi Alonso at the heart of the Spain midfield for this second half. Fàbregas and Cazorla over the free kick. Santi Cazorla fancies this. Here's Cazorla! Great save! Hand under the crossbar from Gaudet. Tremendous stop. Was certainly heading for the top corner from Cazorla. It's a top save from Gaudet. Strong start to the second half from Spain. Still building up towards their full match fitness, of course, but whatever stage they're at, they'll be considerably fitter than the Puerto Rican players. Navas. Busquets for Monreal. Cazorla. Fàbregas. Lovely touch. Suarez quite turned that into the path of Alvaro Arbeloa, who was well advanced there, the right back. Doing a bit of possession here now, Puerto Rico. Just struggle to retain that, though. Spain so good at hunting down possession. Here's Monreal. Llorente! Another fine save by Gaudet. That's the sort of service that Fernando Llorente loves. Monreal right on the money here. It's another good stop from Gaudet. A little more comfortable than he's won right at the outset of this half. But nevertheless, he had to get two hands on it. That was his brilliant tip onto the crossbar to deny Cazorla. That's his best save of the game. There's been half a dozen very good ones behind that. Himself in glory, the 30-year-old. But for him, Spain would have been 5 or 6 up by now. The game is shaping up. It could well be 5 or 6 for Spain. Got 90 minutes. Yes. Navas. Torres on the turn. Wide open up for him. Cazorla. Arbeloa. Monreal. Monreal. Ramos able to hold the ball up, but he was being fouled. Finally a chance for Puerto Rico to get further than their goal, and they've been for some time. Sergio Ramos, you can see, is out in the second half. Ike not reappeared for the second period. Ramos with a brilliant Euro 2012. I mentioned earlier that Iniesta was arguably Spain's best player at the Euros, but Sergio Ramos wouldn't have been very far behind him. Fàbregas. Cazorla. Pass on the hip for Marrero. Puerto Rico getting ready to make their first substitution. Marco is stripped and ready to come on. Defender. Cesc. Fàbregas. Torres was onside. Got away from him. Second half minutes from Spain haven't yet increased their half-time lead with 2-0. Pretty close to doing so. Well, here for the Puerto Ricans, chance to get Vélez on. It's Scott Jones who's coming on. One defender for another. Man coming on, plays like a number of these Puerto Rico players do with the Puerto Rico Islanders, who actually reached the semi-final of the CONCACAF Champions League back in 2009, losing to the strong Mexicans of Cruz Azul. It was a notable achievement from the Puerto Rico Islanders. Underlining that soccer is improving in these parts, facing the ultimate challenge here of the reigning world and European champions, who it's fair to say are still in relative first gear. Navas. Cesc, Marrero, Cazorla, plays the ball out. Offers no hope to Héctor Ramos, lone striker. Short rain shower during that first half. No sign of the rain now. Spain getting ready to make another switch. Here's Torres. Marrero. Cazorla. Snapped into the feet of Fàbregas. Couldn't control it. Barcelona now picks up Torres. Turned away by Vélez. Only as far as Jesús Navas. Now Cazorla. Torres. All very intricate, all very tight. Not quite the position that Fàbregas was looking for. The other side of the goal there, Cesc Fàbregas. Down there, happy to see the ball sail wide of his right-hand post. Still they managed to find a gap. He wasn't too far away, Fàbregas. Spain switch, on comes Manchester City's Cazorla. Plenty of big names not here. Xavi, Carlos Puyol, David Villa, who's back to fitness again after a broken leg, curtailed most of his last Spanish domestic season with Barcelona. Scored in a recent friendly against Dinamo Bucharest. Villa. Several of the Olympians who are in the senior squad haven't made it here. Jordi Alba, Javi Martinez, Juan Mata. What riches Del Bosque, the coach, has to call upon. In by Fàbregas. Silva, Cazorla, towards Torres, easily seen by Gardet. Silva. Navas. Look on by Llorente, the really challenging man with the red shirt. Underlined here that it was Nacho Monreal who made way for David Silva's introduction, which has brought Alvaro Arbeloa across to play at left back now in the absence of Monreal. Jesús Navas. Navas did well, they got a cross in there from the tightest of angles. Spain, they have been doing for most of this friendly, virtually playing with a back two in Ramos and Albiol. The rest are attackers. Here's Arbeloa. Well by Arietta, who has Spanish blood. His father is a Basque, his mother Italian. Marc Cintrón, whose arrival is imminent, it would appear, from Puerto Rico. Here's Busquets of Barcelona. Fàbregas. Busquets again. Cazorla. That is set up by Arbeloa. Breaks for Cazorla again. I think we'll call that one for the cameras if I'm not being too harsh on Bill Gardet. I think this is a relatively comfortable save. Good height. What he'd expect to make. Corner. Coming up to the hour mark. They can even take the goalkeeper off, Pepe Reina, and still come out on top here, Spain. So dominant they are of the football. They had 70% possession in the first half. I'm sure that's increased. In by Llorente. Calmly done by Arietta. Silva. losing out. Silva. Torres running into a thermal challenge from Vélez. Just had a little inquiry there, Torres, to the referee Javier Santos, that might have been a foul. Cintrón keen to get on. Fresh legs for Puerto Rico. Marc Cintrón, 21-year-old striker, hails from New Jersey, will replace Andrés Pérez. Well, I'm sure Jose Mourinho, the Real Madrid head coach, and the new Barcelona head coach this coming season, Tito Villanova, will be delighted that the likes of Andrés Iniesta, Gerard Piqué, Xabi Alonso, none of them still out there, appear to have come through unscathed. A long old trip back home, and not too long to prepare for the opening fixtures in La Liga, which come up this weekend. Eagerly awaited new Spanish domestic season. Rare attack from Puerto Rico. The fans get excited, not for long. Rivera is unable to get the accuracy on the cross. Silva, Navas, always positive, Jesús Navas, so it's tight, close control at pace, throw for Spain. We're currently on a run, 11 games unbeaten, since they lost last November to England. Silva. Fàbregas. Cazorla. Silva. For Puerto Rico, only Héctor Ramos. What you would call a striker in this team, the rest pretty much are defenders. Cintrón will bring a little bit of freshness to the attack. Ramos certainly appeared to be running out of legs. He's running. Héctor Ramos for little or no reward. Pepe Reina has been untroubled with his Spanish goal, but maybe now Cintrón, just off the bench, scores the biggest goal of his life. Marc Cintrón, one to tell the grandchildren. Puerto Rico scored against the world and European champions. Well, pinch yourself, number 9, Marc Cintrón, but you have scored against Spain. Oh, yes. The Sergio Ramos, one of the world's best defenders, might have just deflected in off Ramos, but it's definitely Cintrón goal. Cesc. Silva. Sure to be an extra spring in the Puerto Rican step now. Heavy old challenge on Sergio Busquets. Very well on the spot to award Spain the free kick. Cazorla. Might be a case of beware the wounded animal now. Much better sides than Puerto Rico, to be fair to them. Failed to score against Spain. Just wreak some revenge. The minutes for the left. Here's Marrero. Little over a quarter of the game to go. Fàbregas finding Navas. Navas. Taken on by Busquets. Navas again. Silva. Cazorla. Deflected and headed wide by Llorente. He had to react quickly. Fernando Llorente. But it wasn't too far wide. There's that moment of glory for Cintrón. Takes a reflection, we see it here of Ramos. No taking the goal away from Marc Cintrón. They celebrated like the World Cup winning goal. And why not? Here's Ramos. Rivera. Cintrón finding a bit of space. Surely they can't level it up, can they? Rivera trying to stretch and help that in towards Ramos. Wasn't too far away. And they barely haven't attacked at all like that in the first half. It's only right the second one they've had all game, including the one that brought the goal for Cintrón. Have been all day. Time approaching 5:30 in the early evening, local time. Fàbregas. Kick out Silva. Chatting to the referee there, Sergio Busquets has picked up a yellow card. That's a silly thing to do in a friendly. Oh, change of goalkeeper for Spain. There'll be a few minutes here for their recognised number one, Jesús. It's not Torres who's coming off. No, captain's armband. Well, Jesús wasn't going to play centre forward. He'll tell you could. He'll take up his normal position in place of Reina. Armband has been passed around a little bit. Chelsea also wore it at the start. Torres took it on. Jesús is the recognised Spain captain, the one who's lifted the European trophies, World Cup in the last 4 years. Rivera. Can operate on a little bit of a short fuse at times. Sergio Busquets talked his way into a yellow card. 18 minutes to go. No one, I suspect, would have forecast the scoreline to be as tight as this. Spain dominating the match, of course. Puerto Rico will be only a goal down at this relatively late stage. Remarkable, tremendous credit to them. Historical defending, outstanding goalkeeping. Navas. Busquets. Torres, pocket of space just opened up for the Chelsea striker. He's earned a free kick. That's the exact blade of grass from which Santi Cazorla struck the crossbar earlier on in this half. Looks like Fàbregas is going to get the honours here. Favours the right foot. Fàbregas or Cazorla. Fàbregas looking towards hitting it to the far side of the area, but I think he'll go for goal here. Surprised if he doesn't. No, he does just chip it in. He thought he would have taken that on straight at goal, Fàbregas. Here's the Barcelona man again. Fàbregas has come around. Took on one touch too many. The switch for Puerto Rico. Going to take off Noah Delgado, replace him with Samuel Soto. Straight swap in midfield. This will be welcome to the quite a number in the crowd, because number 21 Soto plays for the local club here. They play at this stadium, Bayamón, the current leaders of the Puerto Rico Soccer League. Midfielder, 20 years old. Haven't seen much of the number 5 Delgado. That's probably fair to say for a number of the players out there in blue. They've been chasing possession, and although they might not have figured in terms of we mentioned them in commentary, every one of them out there for Puerto Rico has put a shift in for their coach and had to do a lot of chasing, hard yards without the ball, and they've kept an admirable shape for most of the match. Quarter of an hour to go. Soto on for Delgado. Sergio Ramos. Fàbregas. Silva. Torres. Nice football from Spain. Navas. Arbeloa. Busquets. And again, swift into passing and movement. Offside against Jesus Navas. Was played, I think he was onside. I'm sure the assistant referee got that right on the far side. I certainly didn't. Well, I just want to get through this 13 minutes injury-free. These star players, rich commodities at their various clubs, of course. Domestic season in Spain and England. All the players on view tonight apply their trade. Spanish red. Just want to be fit and ready to go when the English Premier League and the Spanish La Liga seasons open up this weekend. Cazorla will be lining up for Arsenal after his summer move from Malaga. Navas of Sevilla. Helping out Torres. Navas to try again. Support from Silva, who's onside. Header from Llorente won't trouble Gade. Del Bosque on the right there, earnest conversation. Admitted himself, the Spanish head coach, that the timing of this friendly was not the best. Of course, there's been a whole raft of international friendlies around the globe, just ahead of important league seasons getting underway. Calendar seems to be a little unfair. Top-class footballers. Yes, a few more kilometres in the tank, but always the risk of injury, which is such a concern for these top players. Busquets. Silva. Arbeloa, David Silva, won the Premier League in England with Manchester City last season. Here he is again, Silva, Arbeloa. Silva right at the heart of that move, but waiting with a glimpse of goalkeeper who looks as though he's had a fair bit to do today, and he certainly has. Will Gaudet, a fine game. 10 minutes to go. Puerto Rico 1, Spain 2. Puerto Rico leading this half by a goal to nil. They won't be shy of telling you that if that's the final score. Spain led at the interval with goals from Santi Cazorla and Cesc Fàbregas. Substitute Marc Cintrón with the only goal of the second half. out there now in the blue of Puerto Rico that have to do so much chasing of the ball. They're not alone in that when it comes to playing against Spain. Busquets, Navas, Each look across, Llorente's header well wide. Puts the ball in, he found some space there, and he normally does better. He's very good in the air, Llorente. Where will he be playing his football come the start of the season? Turned down a new contract with Athletic Bilbao. Will they play him in the opening La Liga game this weekend? Or will he be gone by then? Torres certainly be with Chelsea. Wicket in Puerto Rico. Spot a cramp here. That's exactly what it is. Fernando Gonzalez needing the treatment. Gonzalez will be keen to see out the full 90 minutes if he can. Just might be that his day is at an end as they're getting ready on a replacement. Silva. Watch the space here for Cazorla. Defending by Martinez. Can Puerto Rico mount one attack in the minutes that remain to perhaps go on to produce the most unlikely scoreline? Cintrón goals giving them hope. Fernandez couldn't recover from that bout of cramp. Torres. But too easily muscled out of possession there, Fernando Torres. Will be stronger than that. Well, that caught with players upfield here. Puerto Rico and Spain can take full advantage. Torres! Another fine save by Gaudet. He won't want this game to end. He's had more work to do than is healthy. But he's had a terrific match. Full stretch to deny Torres. He's the man, Bill Gaudet, that's kept the score to very respectable proportions for Puerto Rico. This will feel like a win for them to be getting 2-1 down to the world and European champions. A little over 3 minutes to go. Cazorla, Arbeloa. It's going to be a Spain corner. Well, for his performance, Gaudet deserves to keep a clean sheet from here on in. But will he do so? Because Fàbregas has other ideas. It's another corner. Slow to close Cesc Fàbregas down there. Goalkeeper's pointing that out. The fresh legs of Tyler Wilson on for Puerto Rico for the final moments of the game. Won't bring them any reward. Also getting ready to bring Carlos Rosario on, but at the moment they're defending. Happy to hear the referee Javier Santos' whistle in their favour. Rosario's ready to come on if the referee's attention can be bought. Goal came from a long kick from the keeper, Gaudet. Lightning strike twice, I wonder. Free kick against Ramos. Now here's an opportunity. They haven't had too many set pieces sufficiently high up the pitch to get the big men forward from the back. Puerto Rico score and end up with a draw. It'll be an I was there day for the Islanders of Puerto Rico and their footballers. We're into the 90th minute. Look at this high line from Spain. My goodness, they're giving Casillas a good look at his penalty area here. Now can anybody spring this most unusual defensive setup from Spain? Just a little dink into a big area. Oh, that's not what was required. That's just bordering on the criminal. A rush of blood to the head there. Martinez makes his way back into defence, but was crying out for a little dink into an empty penalty area. Here comes Rosario. He's only going to get a few seconds. Come on to replace Héctor Ramos, who provided the assist for Cintrón goal. That fine header that got beyond Sergio Ramos. He's really worked hard, Héctor Ramos. He's been a lone striker for most of this friendly. Hails from the island. A 22-year-old will look back on a good display. Hasn't seen a lot of the ball. He's been able to, he's been a presence that Spanish defenders want to keep an eye on. So on comes Rosario, defender for a striker. Another of the local players, plays for Bayamón. Surely the referee will find another minute or two because of the number of substitutions, particularly in this second half. Cazorla, he's been out there since the start, the man who opened the scoring. Busquets, Torres, to work here to prevent the corner, can't do so. Time for another switch. Going to see Marrero coming on to replace Alexis Rivera. Marrero, midfielder of the Puerto Rico Islanders who play in the North American Soccer League. Another who hails from the island, Marrero, 19. Third minute of stoppage time. Just about the last opportunity, I would think, for Spain to find a third goal. Cazorla. Referee has the whistle to his mouth and it's all over. Biggest game in the football history of Puerto Rico, and their fans will celebrate, and the players, with a moral victory here. Although they've lost the match, to hold Spain to just a 2-1 deficit is fulsome praise for the players in blue. Tremendous performance from their goalkeeper Bill Gaudet, who was beaten with two late first half goals from Santi and Cesc Fàbregas. But Puerto Rico, to the delight of their fans, won the second half in terms of the only goal scored by Marc Cintrón. Fans have certainly enjoyed it. Fair to say that Spain weren't flat out here. And on another occasion, without a goalkeeper in top form, might have come away with 5 or 6 goals. As it is, they've stretched Spain, their unbeaten record, to 12 matches since losing to England last November. Everyone that was here to witness it would have enjoyed a game that Spain dominated in terms of possession, but not in the final scoreline, which is eternal credit to Puerto Rico. Final score, hope you've enjoyed it, at Juan Ramón Loubriel Stadium. Puerto Rico 1, the world and European champion Spain 2.
Su último aplauso, enorme, grande, generoso, sea para la selección nacional de Puerto Rico. Amigos, hoy se ha hecho historia en este estadio Juan Ramón Loubriel Stadium. A nombre de la administración del ministro, por supuesto, a nombre del honorable Ramos y Rivera, alcalde de la ciudad de Bayamón, agradecemos la distinguida presencia de todos y cada uno de ustedes. Una tarde inolvidable, amigos, una tarde histórica aquí en Bayamón. Agradecimiento a todas las personas que de alguna manera han puesto su voz para que este evento se haga realidad por primera vez en la hermosa isla del campo de Puerto Rico. Un agradecimiento muy especial al personal del municipio de Bayamón. Estamos para servirles. A todo el personal técnico, administrativo, seguridad y todas aquellas personas que responsablemente han hecho el máximo para la realización de este evento. Amigos, solo me resta desearles lo mejor de vida y esperamos este próximo sábado 18, aquí en la Islandera, cuando nuevamente regresan a casa los Puerto Rico. La cita siempre presente, no saben amigos, regresan los Puerto Rico Islanders, la tropa naranja, a esta su casa, la Islandera en el estadio Juan Ramón Loubriel. Antes de despedirnos queremos enviar una felicitación muy especial en su cumpleaños para el equipo de Cristian Álvarez, mucho cariño y mucho amor. Agradecemos también el agradecimiento muy especial a toda la agencia internacional que vivió este evento. Le damos un abrazo muy especial. Bienvenidos a Puerto Rico, esperando que su estancia sea agradable. Y esperando nuevamente la próxima oportunidad para recibirlo con el mismo cariño y el mismo amor de siempre de todos sus hermanos puertorriqueños. Una vez más, gracias amigos. Nuevamente gracias por sus valores. Y será hasta la próxima. Sigan disfrutando. Buenas tardes.